So you are ready.
We are at Us Electronica 2020 and we're presenting Transmedia Storytelling CAMILLA Plastic Ocean Plan. CAMILLA Plastic Ocean Plan is the red line of the whole project, the story. And numerous artists have made several works. I show it now.
CAMILLA Plastic Ocean Plan. If you can't stop it, change it. Part 1. Just a normal day on Opfinnesesøy, the island of invention. CAMILLA, 13 years old, is out on her daily inspection, checking the attractions of the amusement park for proper operation, safety, and their ability to entertain. She removes the rust from the steel beams of the roller coaster, puts some fresh paint on the swan neck of the love pedal boat, and finally goes for 3 quick rounds on the swing carousel. And yet, somehow, all of this isn't really fun anymore, since Jaren, 81 years old, went missing during a submarine dive 1 year ago. When CAMILLA was a baby, Jaren found her on the beach of the island, raised her and taught her everything from reading, writing, and calculating to how to design, build, and maintain amusement rides. Even though CAMILLA's dead sure he didn't drown, she can't go and look for him as she is scared of water. Geez, it's already that late? CAMILLA jumps on her vehicle, an electronic flying carpet devised on the island, and rushes to the pier where the ferry with the guests will arrive any minute. But just as she gets there, she realizes with awe that yet again, lots of stuff washed up on the reef overnight. Plastic bottles, a broken pair of sunglasses, an old chair, and a giant rusty pink cargo ship. All of them beautiful things that surely belong to people who must be missing them. CAMILLA quickly picks up as many items as she can and adds them to the other treasures that ended up on the beach, now waiting for their owners to pick them up, forming a pile almost higher than the roller coaster. Will the owner of the large piece of plastic tarp with a lovely colorful glimmer allow her to keep it? Back at the pier, she puts on her amusement park uniform, flips the sign to Abiato, we're open, and waits and waits and waits. After Jaren's disappearance, visitor numbers started dwindling. Eventually, they went down to 0 a couple of weeks ago. CAMILLA takes her telescope and watches the sea. Nothing. No one out there. The water is calm and smooth, almost like a mirror. But wait, what was that? Did she just see a boy on a surfboard? She blinks and readjusts the telescope. No, nothing to be seen. Probably an illusion. Instead, she notices a long plastic rope floating on the surface that must have got stuck at the tip of the mermaid tower. But well, the thing is, even though she's definitely the boldest, cleverest, strongest, and for that matter, also the only girl on Opfinnesesøy, there is no way she will ever go into the water. This was part 1. The story goes on in part 2. Part 2. And yet, she's a natural-born inventor. CAMILLA flips the sign back to "We are closed," jumps on her flying carpet, and speeds to the other end of the island, where a long patterned bridge connects the shore to her home. A glittering iceberg, which, as any proper iceberg, is much bigger below the surface than it is above it. And that's a good thing, because As Camilla has noticed with some concern, the ice is gradually melting away. The tip is getting smaller, and the ice forming the outer walls is growing thinner. Soon she will be able to see the stars when lying in bed. Her bedroom is located in the top part, right above the kitchen floor. Further down in its belly, the iceberg houses the inventor's workshop, as well as laboratories. Down here, nothing has changed since the day Jaren went missing. Even though things have gotten somewhat dusty and yellow, the calendar on the wall still shows the day of his disappearance. And that's just the way it should be. Camilla wants to leave everything as it is, to make sure that Jaren feels comfortable when he returns. That's why she started patching up the transparent parts of the iceberg with pieces of plastic washed ashore. Now, it almost looks better than before. Colorful lights shine into the rooms, and when the iceberg moves, spots of light, looking like a swarm of little fish, start moving all over the walls. Down in the workshop, she thinks about how to retrieve the plastic rope from the ocean. Within no time, she devises a clever solution and quickly converts the island's flying carpet into a kind of crane, allowing her to get to the rope in the water from high above. To protect herself from splashing water, she also puts on the thick fish scale diving suit with the integrated fins. With equipment like that, what could possibly go wrong? This was part 2. The story goes on in part 3. Part 3. Hanging from the crane, she carefully and very slowly moves the boom toward the spot in the water and cautiously tries to remove the rope from the tip of the tower. Without success. The thing really got stuck down there. She realizes she would have to go into the water, which is not an option because suddenly a loud "Hey!" comes from behind her. Startled, Camilla loses her grip and splashes into the water. Why on earth did she remove the safety rope shortly before returning to the shore? With her eyes wide open in fear, she sinks deeper and deeper, unable to move but one scale of her suit. On her way down, she sees colorful fish, corals, the underwater attractions that are covered in pieces of plastic, and Jaren's submarine. But before she knows it, a hand grips her arm and pulls her back up to the surface. Camilla coughs and gasps for air. Fortunately, there's a surfboard up here that she can hold on to. And someone's smiling at her. That someone is Mantu, 15-year-old, the boy she saw earlier this morning. I didn't mean to scare you, Mantu says. No worries, Camilla replies with a somewhat half-hearted nod. She explains to him what she wanted to do, what she saw, and that Jaren is down there. Heck, if only she wasn't that scared. Mantu immediately offers to dive down to the submarine for her. But Camilla wants to see for herself what happened to the vessel and Jaren. Mantu fails to convince her that it's safe to go into the water, but finally comes up with an idea. In an animal language Camilla can't understand, Mantu summons a manta ray that agrees to help them. He offers to take Camilla on his back and bring her to the submarine. Should she get too scared, returning to the surface would be a matter of seconds for a fast swimmer like him. Camilla swallows her fear and decides to give it a try, driven by the desire to find out what happened to Jaren. Besides, someone has to remove all the pieces of plastic entangled in the underwater attractions. After Camilla has put on a special diving mask, the three dive down to the submarine. There's no one aboard the vessel, but it's still functional. Why didn't Jaren get back up? Manto finds evidence that the boat was captured by force. Someone kidnapped Jaren. But for what reason? Camilla can't just see why someone would do that. This is all too much for her. As the manta brings her back to the surface, she notices that all the colorful fish are not fish, but big and small pieces of colored plastic. Likewise, the corals are accumulations of plastic that got tangled up. What looked like plankton is in fact a myriad of small pieces of plastic resembling an underwater highway. Manto, where are all the animals? Manto sadly shakes his head. Almost all of them are gone. The manta is one of the last ones of his kind. They are starving. Camilla can't believe this is really happening. An ocean without animals? Manto responds by giving her the piece of rope that got cut up. Pulling the rope towards them, they see that a can with a hook got tangled up in the rope's end. An old fishing net got stuck on the hook. The net is wrapped around a lifebelt, and so on. In the middle of the mess, they find a dead seal that couldn't disentangle itself. This is all getting too much for Camilla. Life was still so beautiful this morning. Back on the island, Camilla tries to comprehend what she saw. She thinks about all the everyday situations in the amusement park and at home in which she uses plastic. Cups, straws, plastic bags, large bags, small bags, bags with straw strings, bags with handles, colored bags, transparent bags, nice bags, fancy bags, product bags, food bags, shopping bags, garbage bags, more bags, and so on and so forth. Many of them were blown or deliberately thrown into the sea. Camilla starts sobbing. How could she let that happen? How could we let it happen? Manto doesn't have an answer for her. After all, he left his tribe to find that out. Camilla looks at him with determination. I'm coming with you. This was part 3. The story goes on in part 4.
So, this was the audiobook of part 1 to part 3 of the CAMILLA Plastic Ocean Plan story, and you could see the mixture of the visuals and the story. Let's have a short look of the other parts of page 3, the links to the Ars Electronica, and some urban sticker kits from Käthe Wenzel, which is also in the audium, therefore, in the panel, therefore I want to show it to you. So, hello everybody. Here you can see a lot of collaborators of the project Transmedia Storytelling CAMILLA Plastic Ocean Plan. My name is my name is Angelika Böhm. I'm a professor at Filmuniversity and a member of the German Film Academy and production designer. But somehow I'm also Camilla, because I'm looking for a plan for the plastic stuff in the oceans. I have founded a project in 2015, and in the meantime, more than 200 students, professionals, alumni are involved in the project. And we have founded a project because the worldwide media report about environmental problems often in a way that makes us feel gloomy and helpless, and therefore people ignore the facts. And we also films, if they tell about the future, they tell dystopias, but what's with the world we want to live in? And so we started the projects. And new things are often a combination of things that have never been combined before. And CAMILLA is a mix of fantasy setting and art projects on environmental problems, and backpacked by the scientific expertise of the famous Alfred Wegener Institute, Helmholtz Center for Polar and Marine Research. And today we have Dr. Lars Gutto in the panel. He collaborates since a long time with us. Lars, are you a CAMILLA in the meantime? Moment, I have audio.
Hello, am I a CAMILLA? Of course I'm not CAMILLA, but I think that actually CAMILLA is kind of part of all of us who are concerned about the pollution of the oceans by plastic, and of all the people who have realized that there is plastics all around, where there should be fish and crabs and whales. And actually, but I hope that one day she will allow me to wear her new diving suit.
Lars, thank you so much. We asked Antonietta Tika, the artist who makes durable art, whether she can help you at this point. The next collaborator I want to ask is Charlotte Hinzmann. She has made the fantastic storytelling based on some expertise from Lars Gutto, but she has also checked a lot of other scientific journals and texts. Charlotte, has the project made you to a CAMILLA, or have you before being a CAMILLA? Please don't unmute you.
So, well, plastic waste is a topic you really can't avoid these days. Still, CAMILLA Plastic Ocean Plan as a project gave me the opportunity to have a closer look at the vast amount of implications the waste has on animals, plants, and processes in the ecosystem. And it really helped me dig deep and understand the issue. Pretty much the same journey CAMILLA is taking, but from a different angle, if you will. Because my expertise is to make visible what some won't see, and to show that we are already in CAMILLA's world and need to change gear as quickly as possible.
Okay, that's a good statement. Thank you so much, Charlotte. The other facet of the artistic research in CAMILLA Plastic Ocean Plan is transmedia storytelling, with the short story about CAMILLA based as Red Line. And numerous artists have created works like paintings, concept art, sculptures, VR experience, and 360-degree movies. Dear Jan Schneider, you have made that much 360-degree works for us. For instance, the Animal Point of View movie, or the fantastic 360-degree VR experience you can see still behind me. Has made the work, and that has it made you to a CAMILLA? Switch your sound on, please.
Yes, okay. If I could afford her dress, yeah, sure, I'm a CAMILLA. So, yes, I will say so, because I get very deep in this thema with the project, because when I use the VR experiences, for me it's getting more closer than I just painting in 2D. So this is a very emotional way for getting nearer to the facts. So yes, I'm a Camilla.
Dear Justin, you have made the composition for the VR experience. We couldn't listen it now, but are you a Camilla? Unmute. Yeah.
In a way, yes, I'm also a Camilla. In the way I would say that Jan Schneider, who created the VR experience, and I use visually and sonically kind of artificial tools, and also in a way plastic, to recreate this tiny world, to bring it close and bring also the problem closer to the audience, which is, I guess, our contribution, also using kind of artificial means to underline the problem.
Justin, thank you so much for your statement. In 2009, 1 year ago, we had a fantastic international masterclass. This masterclass was an invitation to get part of the project. One of the participants is here today now. Dear Joe, please, are you a Camilla in the meantime?
Hi, yeah, Angelica. I think I met some amazing people on the masterclass, like from India, South Africa, France, and lots of different countries. And I think many of us were Camillas in different respects, in that we were kind of all amazed and awestruck by the natural world still, but we were also kind of shocked and overwhelmed and outraged by the problems that the natural world faces. And we wanted to bring our own unique perspectives and expertise, our own Camillas, together, and to try and understand and overcome the issues, and trying to raise awareness to the problems that kind of the world's kind of suffering from at the moment. And we see the fires at the moment that are happening in America. That's kind of affected by our oceans as well, right? The global warming, it's all related, it's all converging. So I think the masterclass taught me just how we're all separate in our own little islands, our own little worlds, but then we're united together. We're all part of the same story, we're all part of the same narrative.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much for this nice statement. It touches me a lot. As you see, CAMILLA Plastic Ocean Plan is a mind opener, offering an alternative point of view on environmental problems. People need inner pictures from the things they want to reach to find the way to there. And therefore, I have a collaboration with Nicole Löser. Nicole, in which way you are Camilla?
Yeah, great to be here and join forces. For me, it's really, in that regard, I also would say I'm part of CAMILLA, and say hello to everyone here from Berlin. I'm a curator and art and innovation manager. And besides worldwide projects, also focusing on water and plastic pollution, also public interventions and exhibitions. I facilitate co-creation workshops to find solution ideas. And this is always a great part to invite lots of different people, because I really believe in this interdisciplinary approach, that they can also become Camilla. And when the Corona pandemic hit, new online collaboration formats were needed. And together with Angelica, we started a new workshop series at the For Future Summit, focusing on utopian worlds. And I'm excited and like to invite you to our future prototyping workshop titled Art for Future, that is starting soon here at 3:30, so in a few minutes, at the Ars Electronica Festival.
Thank you, Nicole, and we see us soon in the workshop. Last but not least, our guest, Käthe Wenzel, has made the urban sticker kit you can download in part 3. And this is connected with the Art for Future workshop from Opening Room 2. Käthe, are you a Camilla now? You are silent.
Definitely, I'm definitely a Camilla.